Reishi mushroom. Now, this is really a long-term immune aid. It helps your immune system as well as your adrenal glands. Reishi, when it was consumed, was known as the mushroom of immortality. This is something that people just consume daily. This is one of the most powerful adaptogenic herbs on the planet. A lot of times we use that word adaptogen. What adaptogens do is they help your body better adapt and deal with stress. Here's the thing to know, though. There are so many different adaptogens. Astragalus is really an adaptogen for your upper GI. For your upper digestive system, similar to licorice root is an adaptogen for your upper GI. Reishi is more of a true adaptogen for your adrenals and kidneys there as well. And by the way, there's loads of anti-cancer studies on the benefits of both astragalus and reishi, and then Andrographis. In Chinese medicine, it was known as the king of the bitters. If you taste Andrographis, you will know why, okay? It's like, there's an old commercial years ago, remember Bitter Beer Face? You guys remember that commercial? It's like, I mean, Andrographis is so much more bitter. So Andrographis, amazing herb that also activates your immune system. If you want to strengthen your system to really kill off a virus or a parasite or overcome cold and flu, Andrographis is amazing. Also, it's a natural anti-inflammatory, so a really great herb to use there for your immune system. Inflammation. Turmeric, frankincense, and when I say frankincense, I'm talking less the oil, more in the powder form from the resin, and it's called boswellia, okay? And then ginger. There's some other amazing anti-inflammatory, skullcap, cat's claw, rosemary. Rosemary is actually very powerful anti-inflammatory. These are some of the most important, but I'd really encourage you, I mean, there is so much medical research, both in the US and in the Middle East and India, on using turmeric to fight cancer. We all know it has a couple compounds, one of those being curcumin, which has anti-inflammatory properties. It also has a lesser known compound called turmerone, which is found more in the oil of turmeric. Turmerone has been shown in medical studies to help regenerate nerve endings and regenerate stem cells of your brain. I think a lot of future of medicine is going to be in stem cell research and using stem cells. But again, here's the great news is you don't need to do stem cells necessarily, whether it's a synthetic form or something from another person. Like, you can boost your body's own stem cells through doing things like fasting and consuming more turmeric. Candida, talked about this earlier. We got to get rid of candida. Is something that so many people have. You can know if you have candida if you stick out your tongue and if you have a white coating there. That's candida. And so these herbs are very, very effective. And again, I see this all the time. Patients will have, and again, I'm not in practice anymore, but when I worked with patients in the past, or I still talk to a lot of people today and work with them on their health, and I see a lot of times they'll go into their doctor, and sometimes it's a conventional doctor, but sometimes it's a natural doctor, and the natural doctor still will think, okay, I need to treat this with, like a natural antibiotic, and we got to cut sugar out of the diet. And those things are great, okay? Cutting sugar and adding in something that's antimicrobial, caprylic acid or oil of oregano. But that's not enough. If you really want to get a candida, remember this. Are you changing your environment? Just think about all that time. You got to change the environment and dry up the dampness. So things that will do that are, again, bitter foods. Pal d'Arco, amazing to take as an herbal tea or capsule tincture. Pal d'Arco, I really like it as a tea. Sage, oregano. When you take Pal d'Arco, I recommend typically taking it with something like a cinnamon tea because Pal d'Arco is very cooling. It's super bitter but cooling, and cinnamon's a little bit warming and bitter as well. Good to take together. Ginger's great to take with these. Sage really helps dry up dampness, and of course oregano. More antimicrobial, a little anti-dampening too for candida, but these are some really, really good ones to take. Pal d'Arco is also amazing for anti-parasites. Here's the thing, if you have a parasite or Lyme in certain areas, they like to live in this dampness. They love to live in sort of like, we'll get infections in our organs and this will happen. So again, that being said, these are some herbs that can really help combat those things if you know that you've got a yeast or candida or an issue with dampness. Adrenal and thyroid health. So in Chinese medicine, if you have hypothyroidism, and I was talking to my buddy earlier about this, Dr. Chris Motley, we were talking about taking care of your thyroid. And today, here's what happens in our medical system. Somebody will go into their doctor with low thyroid markers, and the doctor will say, hey, here's some Synthroid. You're not changing your environment. To them, here's what health is, what something says on a test. In Chinese medicine, it's now like, how is your body actually doing? Not just changing a number on a test. That does not mean you're healthy. You're healthy if your body is functioning optimally, you're feeling good, and everything's going well in your body. Not if a number is changed on a test. And so in order to heal your thyroid, typically your thyroid issues can be related to one's emotions, your emotional health. So if you're having fear in your life, if you're feeling stuck, if you're low self-esteem, sometimes lack of identity, these things actually can cause some thyroid issues. But also in Chinese medicine, hypothyroidism was known as low qi and low yang. Well, how do you boost your qi and yang? Well, qi is very much like, I'm self-confident, I feel good about myself. It's working on your self-confidence. But ashwagandha is a qi and yang boosting herb, which is why ashwagandha is probably the most effective herb, period, for hypothyroidism. And there are others that are qi and yang boosting. There's Rehmannia, which is a great qi boosting herb. Here's what qi, by the way, if you don't know what qi is this. It's how full is your battery. Like qi in Chinese medicine was known, like your adrenals, how much energy you have. Like, what are your adrenal glands at right now? Are you at, like, if you pull out your iPhone, is it at 80%? Is it 50? Is it 20%? Where's your battery at? But they use the word qi for that in Chinese medicine. And so if somebody like has lots of energy, you wake up, you were well rested, you maybe went on vacation, you just feel good, your qi is pumped up. You haven't slept well, you're exhausted, you're walking around. They say as you get older too, your qi can lower and you start to get rounding. It's kind of like low self-esteem, that's low qi versus self-confident. I feel good, So again, one of the biggest keys to heal the thyroid and adrenals is this, it's self-confidence. It's feeling good about yourself, doing things to do that, and then boosting qi and yang. You boost qi with specific types of adrenal and thyroid boosting foods. It's a lot of foods that are like dark blue and purple and greens, seaweed, blueberries, raspberries, black rice, like these foods that are very dark and nutrient dense tend to be very, very good for the adrenals and thyroid. But ashwagandha is one of the best. Reishi is amazing. Here's another amazing thing. Look at that reishi mushroom there. You know what that looks like as an organ? It looks identical to your kidneys. There's a principle in Chinese medicine. If you eat something that looks like an organ, it nourishes that organ. That's how God made it. Isn't that amazing? God made it so simple. Hey, if you want to help your brain, eat a walnut because it literally looks like a hemisphere of your brain. You want to help your eyes? Eat a carrot. You cut it in half. It literally looks like the circles around your eye. You want to help your blood? You squeeze some beets. It looks like blood. Beets help your blood. You know what? Medical research has shown this over and over again. Reishi looks like your kidneys, which is right where your adrenals sit, which is why reishi is known as one of the ultimate adrenal tonics. Rehmannia, another amazing herb, probably the most prescribed herb in Chinese medicine for adrenal fatigue. It's a great one there. By the way, like ashwagandha, a lot of you guys, how many of you guys have heard of ashwagandha? Most of you. If I would have asked you that 10 years ago, nobody would have raised their hand. Here's something I'm excited about. Most people don't know what Rehmannia is. In 10 years, people are going to know what Rehmannia is, and Andrographis, and Schisandra, and Dong Quai, and all these other herbs that have been used for thousands of years in Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine that we haven't brought over and started using today, and it's going to be so amazing for our health.